President Trump has reversed a Biden-era decision on a major mining operation in Alaska that will unleash critical minerals and an economic gold mine. Joining us to discuss is the chairman of the National Energy Dominance Council and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning, Jan. Great to be with you.
Tell us more about this project that was blocked by Biden and why it is critical also to our national security.
Well, President Trump promised on day one that he was going to ensure that our nation had energy security, and part of that energy security is making sure that we've got secure supply chains for critical minerals in our country. Deep in the interior of Alaska, there's a mining region called Ambler. There's a 211-mile gravel road proposed to get to this area to help unleash over 1,700 mining claims, some of them over 100 years old, never been able to release those minerals. Alaska is so rich in minerals, but President Trump signing that order on Monday, unleashing Alaska's potential. And again, this is not just a literal, but an actual, I mean, not just a figurative, but a literal gold mine. There's gold, there's silver, there's cobalt, there's lead, there's copper. This is one of the richest copper concentrations in the entire world. And of course, we need copper for whether it's for AI data centers, for defense, for automotive, for medical equipment. But right now, China controls on the top 20 critical minerals, China's controlling 85 to 100% of all the mining and processing around those minerals. We've got to bring those back home to the United States. We've got to get back in the mining business if we're going to have a secure economy and energy security in this country. President Trump knows that, and he's making it happen.
As far as Alaska's concerned, too, that project, we have a 10% stake, right? The U.S. does. The government.
Well, as part of this deal, there's an investment that was made by the Department of War into a mining company that's operating, which gives us a 17.5% stake in a company that has some of the richest mining claims there. And so that will be held by the Department of War, but it's for the benefit of the American people. Right. The American people will benefit from this road access and these mineral resources as well, because this is the way it should be. When Theodore Roosevelt put away hundreds of millions of acres of federal land, he said it's for the benefit of the American people as well as the enjoyment. And President Trump is executing on that across the country. This isn't the first, but it's one of several, and there'll be more where the United States is actually investing in the companies that are developing these resources to the benefit of the American people.
This is also absolutely imperative when it comes to maintaining a lead in the AI arms race, because it's critical we don't allow China to get ahead because we are not creating new energy sources. Explain what you're doing to change that by bringing back coal.
Well, whether it's coal, whether it's hydro, whether it's geothermal, nuclear, natural gas, all sources of reliable, affordable, dispatchable, persistent power sources as opposed to intermittent, expensive, and highly subsidized sources. We need all of that. We need baseload to power the AI revolution. China added 93 gigawatts of coal last year, Jan. That's 1 gigawatt would power the entire Denver metro region. They're opening a coal plant every 4 days. Well, the plan that we inherited from the Biden administration was shutting down baseload across our country. We were actually declining in energy and electricity production, which was what's driving the rates up for many parts of our country today. Was the Biden energy plan is what's driving those rates up. Now we've got, with President Trump, we need energy abundance. We've got to make sure that we've got the electricity we need to make everything affordable at home, but also to make sure that we can run AI data factories. A kilowatt of electricity is worth more today than ever before because you can turn electricity directly into intelligence. And artificial intelligence is going to change every job, every industry, every company, but not only if we've got the power to power those AI factories.
Yeah, and I noticed you didn't mention anything about solar. You mentioned nothing about wind, and for good reason. Explain that.
Well, again, I alluded to that in the sense that they're highly subsidized. These projects wouldn't happen if there weren't taxpayer subsidies. They're intermittent. They only operate when the sun is shining and the wind is blowing. And then when they're not running, when the sun's not shining, the wind's not blowing, we still need the entire grid. We still need all that other stuff that Biden was shutting down. So they're ridiculously expensive in terms of the redundancy. And then often the sources of that solar and wind were in places that were far away from where the load was. So then we were spending, hundreds of billions of dollars on transmission lines, and a transmission line from a solar field at night carries absolutely zero electrons because there's no electricity being generated. There's no electricity going down a wind transmission line when the wind is not blowing. And so it is among the most expensive, least reliable sources. And American taxpayers, without them knowing it was showing up today on their electrical bill, but it was showing up on their tax bill before because of the subsidies.
And so many of those solar plants, as we know, have been shut down. All those projects in California, there was recently one that was shut down in California that cost taxpayers billions of dollars, correct?
Well, yes, it absolutely highly subsidized, very expensive. But the other thing, Jan, was those solar panels. Again, over 80% of the solar panels being deployed in the U.S. were being made in China. And again, earlier this year, it was found that some of those solar panels had kill switches in them. China, with software, could actually have shut them off. This is the same way with Huawei during the first Trump administration, selling, dumping telecommunications equipment into our country that people thought was inexpensive, but actually it was all loaded up with the ability for China to listen in on U.S. communications. So Huawei's been banned, and we have to make sure that any solar projects being built in the U.S. are being built with a U.S. secure supply chain. You
talked about the electric grid. How are you ensuring that the shutdown will not jeopardize essential services like the electric grid?
Well, this government shutdown. I'm a private sector person. Before till the day before I became a governor, I was in the private sector. A government shutdown by the Democrats right now, when it's literally over nothing. They say it's over health care. If they want to change health care in America, introduce a bill while the government's running and see if they can get a bill passed in Congress. But when they're shutting down, whether it's shutting down our national parks, shutting down permitting to keep advancing infrastructure, China's not taking a week off right now, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks off. China is going full bore every day, and we're in a race with China. And so it's absolutely harmful to American national security, to our economy, to our prosperity, that we're having this shutdown right now. And again, it's incredibly selfish on the side of the Democrats because there's nothing at stake. The House has already passed a budget resolution that says we'll keep spending it the same way we were spending last week. If they want to debate the budget, debate policy, introduce a bill. That's what Congress is designed for. But meanwhile, all cabinet members right now are spending an inordinate amount of time running, from thing to thing, trying to figure out a way to keep government going, even though we're not allowed to use any appropriations to do it. But thank God we've got a great cabinet working for President Trump. Everybody's keeping essential services going, whether it's permitting, national parks. We're doing everything we can for the American people. That's who we came to serve. But Democrats are making it hard for us to do our job right now because of this, completely 100% political shutdown.
At what point, though, does this affect what your agency does, especially when it does come to energy production? I know you mentioned permitting was still being allowed, but really the potential for lost revenue during this time.
Well, the potential for lost revenue is significant because, again, we're not allowed to use appropriated dollars, so we're borrowing dollars from other places. Like, we're keeping national parks open with recreation fees as opposed to appropriated dollars. But at some point, those dollars run out. And in the same thing on the permitting side, same as everything else. At some point, there's not enough, cash in the drawer. Think of it, got a little few bucks laying around in a drawer in the kitchen or something. But when that runs out, as opposed to the dollars we need to run that. And of course, under President Trump, we're trying to be as efficient as we can. But there are core services that drive our economy forward. And the Democrats. Again, it's bizarro land. If you're a business, if you owned a business on Main Street, would you shut down your business and then have a sign on the door to your customers that says, not sure when we're coming back, that furlough all your employees, tell them we're not sure when you're coming back? I mean, it makes no sense in any world. If you understand that we're actually in a competition with China, it especially makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the issue is that with the shutdown, you could keep the government open while you negotiate, which is exactly what the GOP has tried to do with that continuing resolution. Chairman of the National Energy Dominance Council and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jan.